Hey, what's up, y'all? I hope y'all are doing great. I got an interesting video for y'all today. And before we get into it, it's a bit controversial, but, essentially, long story short, men and women are not equal. I would say we are complementary, and that obviously, to me, it's obvious that men are more physically bodily abled. I mean, that they can do the tougher jobs, plumbing, electricity, construction, everything that is the skeleton and foundation of our society that makes it run, that makes it work. It is for the most part created, designed, and maintained by men. And without men, like the garbage men, and like I said, the plumbing, like all the basic necessity things that are necessary for all the comforts in our civilization today are because of men, which is, a lot of people, they don't want to acknowledge this, and it's unfortunate. And I'm not trying to bash women. Women have their own beautiful qualities and traits. And one thing is I like to say that men have the physical gifts, and women are generally, I would say, more psychic. They're more intuitive and more emotional. Emotional is not a bad thing. They're just more in tune with their emotions. They're more in tune with their feelings. They're intuitive. Whereas the man, for example, would be more of a thinking, reason-based mind, and not listening to his emotions as much, and his feelings and his intuition. Not really in tune with the feminine side. So we have the divine masculine energy and the divine feminine energy. And I would say the divine masculine energy would be more of that, logic, reason-based, and that divine feminine would be more of that in tune with the emotions and the feelings and the more psychic. And so that being said, I'm going to play this video. I found it very interesting. I know it's going to be controversial, but yeah, just let me know what y'all think in the thoughts below. And like I say a lot on this channel, the truth in general is controversial. So let's enjoy.
First, let's have a look at how the Western males and females are getting on. I will share here about many Western women. It's not all, but it is becoming a large majority. Okay, religion controlled women's sexuality in all corners of the earth, as far back as we know.
A time is coming when women will leave the home and go into the world blindly, and yet feel that they are our equals. They will quickly become entitled, as we men will tell them any and everything they want to hear, because we will have no one to come home to. As their egos become more inflated by their vast amount of suitors, and yes, there will be vast amounts because we men are hunters by nature, the women will take longer to decide which of these men should become their life partner. The longer they take, the more hollow they will become, as they will end up in bed with most of these men, with each of these men taking away pieces of them.
One thing I just want to pause it here and state that in the past, women didn't have access to birth control. There were no abortion clinics. I don't even think condoms were a thing. And so women weren't as promiscuous because there were consequences to their actions, where if they were just sleeping around with random men and then they got pregnant, they would be a single mother. And not only that, there was is it a stigma? There was a negative stigma in society for, a woman to be promiscuous and then get pregnant without a father and not being married and all that. And so standards were different in civilization back in the day. But nowadays, we got the birth control, we got the condoms, we got the Planned Parenthood abortion clinics, and then combine that with the dating apps that are heavily favored for women, and the social media as well. And so the women are getting flooded with attention and validation through the social media apps and through the dating apps. So I just wanted to make that point.
They do find a long-term partner, they will never be satisfied, as they enjoyed being preyed upon. This will lead them to leave their marriage and go back out into the world, seeking someone else to complete their hollow core. Sadly, this cycle will continue until they are in their 40s and are no longer desirable prey. But what of the children, you might ask?
You made another point there as well, because I think essentially you're saying, like, when a woman reaches her 40s, she becomes aware that she's no longer as desirable. Her beauty that she enjoyed in her 20s and 30s has unfortunately faded, and the men that were interested in her when she was looking good in her 20s and looking great in her 30s and all that, by the time she's in her 40s, those same men are no longer interested, but she doesn't have a family or anything. She doesn't have children, and it kind of sucks for them as well. And yeah, let's continue.
Yes, what of the children? Indeed. The home life that we value will be no more. Most of these women will have children by several different men, while others will have no children at all, as they will go to extreme measures to prevent this from happening. My friends, I hope you value your family today, as your children will not be so fortunate tomorrow. I can only pray that God watches over them through life. What a world it will be. With that, I will say good night.